And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. So there's a little bit to discuss in today's video. I'm quite late producing this video, apologies for that. But, of course, we had a very disappointing result at home against Kilmarnock on the weekend. Dropping points again with another poor performance again. Really frustrating stuff. Of course, Rangers went on to win their match as well to kind of add salt to the wounds. And they are now at the top of the table with the same amount of games played. So really frustrating. Now, before I get into the negatives and go through what Chris Sutton had to say, I do want to start with one positive, because it is hard to find positives when you watch these games. I think one player in particular for me stood out and deserves some praise, because he has been criticised quite a lot throughout this season, but in the last few games you have to give him credit where credit is due, of course, and that is Joe Hart. I think without him in net on the weekend, that could have easily been a loss to Celtic. If you think back to the two saves that he made in particular against Liam Donnelly, they were superb. And I think he deserves praise for his performance, because I do think he was one of the standout players in that game. And of course, that we won't go into too much detail about that, because the overall performance was poor and the result was poor, but a little bit of credit to Joe Hart there, because I think he's really done well in the last few weeks. I know he's getting older and older and people do want a replacement for him, but credit where credit is due. Joe Hart does deserve praise for his performance, in my opinion. Now let's go through what Chris Sutton had to say after the fallout from that match on the weekend. So at that game, if you guys were in attendance, or you may have seen it on TV, the chant being thrown around Celtic Park was "sack the board." But Chris Sutton does believe Brendan Rodgers has to step up now and take responsibility. So Sutton did not mince his words regarding the team's performance and the broad implications for the season, with Rangers playing on the Sunday to go top of the league with 12 games to play. Now, speaking on Sky Sports, Sutton emphasised that Celtic's recent results, while seemingly positive, have merely concealed deeper issues within the team's play. Now, we mentioned this before, because the game that sticks out mainly when you discuss this is the Ross County match at home. It was a 1-0 win, but that performance was absolutely piss poor. And, those results do kind of cover up the cracks a little bit, but it's like, how do you paper up the cracks a little bit? A poor performance. We got the result, but it is some deeper issues there in terms of the way the team play, as Chris Sutton is saying here as well. He then went on to say that no player has significantly progressed under Rodgers this season, a point of concern for a club that traditionally prides itself on fostering talent. So he said, "Let's get it right. The result didn't come as a great shock. Celtic have been bang average all season. I know Brendan was talking about the recent form and winning 8 of the last 9. The wins have papered over the cracks, really. Performances haven't been there. Celtic aren't kidding anyone. They aren't a good team this season. Everyone talks about stuff about the board and signings, and this moment being a long time in the making. But Brendan Rodgers has to take responsibility. I can't think of one player this season at Celtic who he has improved, and that's on the manager." You look at the points Celtic have dropped domestically. Forget about the Champions League campaign, which was a disaster. If you just look at the Celtics domestically in isolation, they have been poor. I can't remember the last time a Celtic team were outplayed in halves of football by so many teams as they have been this season, and that's on Brendan. Why is that? We've touched on the wire players. It was fast and furious under Ange Postecoglou. The brand of football they are playing is slow and predictable. There isn't a fear factor at this moment in time. Teams fancy getting a result against them, so the Kilmarnock result wasn't a great surprise to anyone, and that's it. So yeah, this is very true from Chris Sutton. I kind of want to ask you guys a question. Where's your head at now in terms of Brendan Rodgers and his future at the club? What he's saying that is true. Of course, the transfer business, stuff like that over the last few years is down to the board. But performances on the pitch, the players that he has at his disposal are more than capable of winning the league quite comfortably. I mean, I don't think any Celtic fan thought their title race would be this close at this point in the season, especially when you consider that we won both derbies this season as well. There's no reason whatsoever that we should be below Rangers in the table right now. It's really frustrating. And I think Brendan Rodgers does have to take some blame. And what he's saying about what players has he progressed or helped develop this season, maybe bar Matt O'Reilly, I can't think of anyone that's drastically improved. A lot of them have actually digressed a little bit as well. But I think Matt O'Reilly's improvement comes from his own work ethic and his own determination, more so than Brendan Rodgers' style of play. But look, it is what it is. Right now, it's really frustrating. Hopefully, something can change because we may see Brendan Rodgers not being the manager past this season. Really, I mean, it's not good enough. Dropping points at home to Kilmarnock is not good enough, and now there really is a title race on our hands. I'm still confident, of course, but Rangers, I have to say, I watched the St Johnstone game. They look good. They look better than us, that's for sure. So something does need to change. But guys, let me know your thoughts. Where's your head at now in terms of Brendan Rodgers' future at the club? What did you make of the result on the weekend? And drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. As always, take care. Bye-bye.